Hello and welcome to Cooking Your Way Through Life.
Today's episode is Cooking Your Way Through Gratitude. And today's technique is going to be braising, and we're also going to go over the idea of slow cooking today.
Cooking Your Way Through Life is a podcast combining knowledge of the kitchen and applying it to real-life situations. This podcast is all about understanding techniques to make things you already know even better. Topics from traveling on a budget, setting and achieving short and long-term goals, and of course, cooking.
On today's episode, I want to go over what is gratitude. I want to break it down and kind of go a little to a deep dive. Also, are you a glass half empty or a glass half full type of person? And what does that mean for your life? Today, we're going to go over two techniques, the idea of slow cooking, but also I want to go over braising because it can change the flavors of everything that you're making.
Please welcome Chef Hollywood.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cooking Your Way Through Life with me, Chef Hollywood. And today we are going to talk about gratitude. I feel like gratitude should be talked about year round, but I definitely wanted to talk about this topic during the holiday season. And honestly, right now in America, it's just a season of we don't know. And so in the midst of not knowing, having gratitude might even be harder to grasp. And I just feel like it's one of those things where you do want to still have it, but sometimes we don't even we don't look into what it really stands for, because a lot of times people think, oh, gratitude. So like I'm happy about this thing. And it's like, that's not really exactly what it is. So I want to go a little deeper into that. And then I also thought about what techniques or what can I go over today that like ties in. And one thing is braising. I feel like understanding how to braise, what braising is, can change your life. And that might sound very extreme, but a lot of times, like I grew up, my mom did not like to cook. I've told you guys this over and over again. But if she would have knew how to braise, a lot of the meals that me and my little brother had would be completely different because it changes the not only just it changes the texture and the flavor of whatever you're cooking. So a lot of times, you just put a steak in the oven with onions and peppers. If you're from the South, you know that recipe very well. But if you braise that steak first, meaning that you do the technique we're going to talk about, whole flavor profile is different. Whole flavor profile is going to be different. So we're going to talk about that and also the slow cooker because I feel like slow cookers are a thing that we really need. And especially right now when you're so busy, you're working all the time, food is really expensive. Like you need to know. And if you don't know, then it's just a extra thing to add to your repertoire. And if you do know about it, then you might be like my big cousin and maybe you use a slow cooker one of these days and you might have messed up your roast. So I'm going to hopefully teach you how not to have that happen as well. So let's jump in today's topic and talk about gratitude first. So I just want to say that with gratitude, it isn't just about saying thank you. It's about feeling it, right? Like it's that quiet moment when you realize like how far you've come, or that deep breath you take before that sip of, for me, that tea in the morning. It's like recognizing that even though the times that, you know, it's tough right now, it's tough, but you still have something or someone to hold on to. Like it's like that moment that you're just like, I know right now life is not going how I want it to go, but thank you to the universe, to God, wherever you believe in, that I have this. I have something. And oh my God, like gratitude definitely doesn't mean your life is perfect. It means that you're choosing to see the good that's already here. But it's just like being a person that believes in the glass half full versus half empty. It's your perspective, like you're choosing to see that good and the people who show up for you and the meals that warm your heart, the lessons that made you stronger is what turns you into you and what turns what we have into enough. A lot of times if something's going bad, you think about the people that's done you wrong and like the things that are going wrong, but you might not acknowledge the many people that's in your corner fighting for you, over the things that's going right because the things that's going bad are kind of overshadowing it. And I think that's the part of gratitude that I lean into because it's like no matter how bad life is, like there's always something that you can see. And I know like it might be in that realm of like the silver lining and you might be thinking like, "Oh, okay," like, but it's true. It is true. Like, and just like comfort food, gratitude feeds your soul. Like, it's simple. It's real. It brings us back to what matters most. It's the connection. It's the love. It's appreciation for the moments that we might like uh, otherwise overlook. Damn, couldn't even say it. Um, but it's like it's all of those things, and I just feel like when you have gratitude it brings other positive things to you because no matter what, and for most of us, we are moving through life doing the best we can with what we got, as Mariah Carey said. But it's like, no matter what, life is moving. So you can choose to deal with all the stuff that we cannot control and be miserable and mad about it and be that way, or you can choose to deal with all the things we cannot control and take joy in the small moments and the be happy with the fact that you do have people in your corner. You do have, things that you can be proud of. You do have those things. And it might not be as much as you want, but it's better than nothing. And I feel like it's a mindset change where once you start thinking that way, your life does kind of change into that way. Like, I have plenty of people in my life that are glass half full people, and their lives usually go more in a positive way versus the people in my life that are glass half empty people. It doesn't. And it's like, well, life is already life and things are already against us. And then you're also against yourself. So if you are a glass half empty person, like you're starting out on the opposing side of your own happiness. So don't help yourself be unhappy. Be thankful for what you have. And I feel like other things will come your way, if that makes sense. So jumping into the topic of gratitude first, I just jump right in there. We're gonna jump into what does slow cooking mean, or what does it mean to slow cook? Because we want to define this first, the basics. So slow cooking is just using low heat over a long period to develop flavor and tenderness. So it's all about the method of less ingredients to break down naturally and build depth. And you use things like a slow cooker. You can use a Dutch oven, a cover pot in the oven. All these items are used to slow cook. And that leads us into the slow cooker because most of the time you're using a slow cooker to slow cook. It's like where convenience meets flavor, right? And the slow cooker works by using consistent low temperature and moisture retention. What that means is by having that consistent heat over a long period of time and that moisture retention, it actually slowly cooks your item through and it becomes very tender. And the flavors are going to be pretty much concentrated. And it gives you the best flavor that you can get out of that item using that method to cook. I mentioned earlier that my cousin messed up the slow cooker, and it's because he used it on high. You don't need to use a high temperature on the slow cooker for a long period of time because just like in the name, it's a slow cooker. I do a lot of grilling and smoking when I can, and smoking is the same way. It's low and slow. It's just like it's that low, slow temperature but consistent heat that gives you that amazing flavor. We also use the same thing for soups, for stews, pulled meats, you know, and the benefit of it right out the gate is just minimal effort. Like it's great for those busy days. Like, if you are a 90s kid, then set it and forget it was like on the TV all the time. That's legitimately why it said that because you set it and you forget it. You could honestly go to like wake up in the morning, get ready for work or and get your kids ready for school, put something in the slow cooker, have it on low heat, go to work and come home and the meal is ready. Like, you know. So, couple tips on your slow cooker. Avoid lifting the lid too often because it releases the heat and it adds about 20 to 30 minutes to the cook. So every time you like, if you're constantly lifting it up, you're just adding more time. That's one of the biggest things. And then the other tip is you can start on high, especially if you're getting something with a little sear or trying to get a little bit of rendering out if you put in bacon or something in. But when you walk away, it needs to be put down to low or medium, depending on what you're cooking. But medium is very rare. But like it needs to, you don't walk away, you don't set it and forget it on high. Don't do that. So those are a couple tips for you. All right, let's jump back into today's topic. So I was talking just about gratitude in general, like kind of like the idea of it. But I do want to say, like, I have a lot of gratitude right now. I feel very thankful for the things I do have because I come from humble beginnings, right? Like, and most of us do, most of the people in my life. And so it's just like, I never take anything that I have for granted. Like around the holidays, and it's getting close to the holidays now, I usually like to spend my holidays on cruise ships because I love the idea of being somewhat different for New Year's. Is like one of my favorite holidays. I just like doing it, which means I usually spend Christmas on the ship too. But when I can, I actually do spend Thanksgiving at home or on land because I like going to food banks and helping out. I like donating my time. I can't donate my time this year, for instance, because I am on a ship already. So I'm going to donate my money, but I like to donate because I was there. Like I've been in those situations where we had to go to and get food and extra help. And I feel like a lot of us have done this. And so it's that whole reaching back and not forgetting where you come from. But it also makes me appreciate my life even more. It makes me understand that I don't take anything I have for granted. It makes me really, really even more proud when I work hard and I get something done. And it also makes me appreciate the people in my life because a lot of times, as I was mentioning earlier, you get so focused on the people that don't show up that you overlook the people that do. And I remember this one time where it was a viral thing going around about this birthday party. It was like, I invited 50 people to my birthday party, but only 5 people showed up. And it's like, bro, like that's so disrespectful to those 5 people. You made a post, you went live, like you like you were so upset about those other 45 people, which rightfully so. I understand it, but two things can be true. You know now that you got 5 people in your corner. Because if those 5 people showed up and everybody else just like flaked on you, I'm not saying like, like something could happen, but if everybody else just totally flaked on you, these 5 people showed up, man, you just realized you got 5 solid people. You know how many, like, most people don't have 5 solid people in their life. Like, that's honestly an amazing thing to have. And so I just think that it just goes back to, once again, my favorite word, perspective. It's literally tattooed on me. Um, Sometimes we just gotta change our perspective and look at things from a different way because it's not always just about the idea of what we don't have. It's about what you do have. And I think that is what really gets lost. It's that whole like, well, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. But what do you have? And I want to say it's about community too, because a lot of times, even with me, I'm a very independent person. And not even in the ways that like I want to be independent. Like I mean, because I'm single, but like I mean, I'm trying to date and stuff, but it just it's not working out. But I'm thankful for things that are working out, right? But I'm just saying, like I'm single, but also I do my business by myself. I pretty much do everything myself. But at the same time, I have friends that help me in ways they don't even know they help me. There's days where I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to sing Rihanna because I don't want to ruin y'all day, but I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to. I don't want to go there. Like I don't want to do any of this stuff. I'm over it. And they help me over that hump. So it's like sometimes the thank you that you give out isn't from a direct um assist. It's from like an assist that you never even realized was there. Because that honestly helps more than you would think. And for me, I do have lots of people in my corner that like want me to succeed. And that's a very, very important thing too, because there's plenty of people who are around people who don't give zero, like zero F's about that person. Like they don't really care about that person's well-being. Like if they succeed, it's just about them succeeding so they can kind of attach to it. And it used to be more in celebrity culture, but now it's like everybody. Like like everybody need to watch their back. you know. Um but to bring it back to gratitude in that sense, I think being thankful for the people that are around you is such a missed opportunity because sometimes we get stuck on the monetary help and we don't realize the mental help. One of the things I always tell entrepreneurs or people that come to me and ask me questions about starting a business or starting social media. I just recently got into YouTube. Thank you so much to all the people that have been subscribing. I know a lot of them are you guys who listen to my podcast because I say it on my podcast. But like, it's when people ask me those questions, the first thing I say, and it's not to discourage them, but it's just a real thing. It's just like, understand that you might have 5,000 friends on Facebook, 10,000 friends on Instagram. I don't know how many people on your Snapchat, X/Twitter is popping, TikTok is going off. When you start something new, nobody might mess with it. Like they might not, like they might not repost, they might not like it, but it's not anything to you. It's just audiences are different everywhere. And when you go to school and you go to school for marketing or finance, like one of the things that always is like, who is your audience? And a lot of times people just like everybody. I want everybody to like it. And that's like the ultimate goal, I think, for everybody, but it's not the path to get there, if that makes sense. When you are, I always talk about music. If you are a music artist and you're really, if look at rap, when you're a rapper, you're not trying to rap and make songs for someone who loves country music. You're rapping because you're making songs for people who love rap, and that's your passion, and you want people to listen to it, right? But then that can transition into other things. And when I say other things, it's just like now you look at who has the Billboard number, like who has been on Billboard the most, and the top three are rappers. Like top three in rap, I would say, because it's other people, but like top three in rap are like above a lot of people. It's Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki Minaj, and they are rappers, but they didn't start out as being quote unquote pop or popular. It just became that way. And I think people see that and they automatically think, oh, what I'm gonna do over here, I want to be that. But it's like it can't, you need to find your people first, and then your people will stay with you and other people might come along, you know? And so when I tell people that, sometimes I get discouraged, but I'm just like, no, like it's not to discourage you, is to tell you that keep doing it. Find your crowd. Like, and the reason why I bring it back to music is because I say like those people didn't get there by just like dropping a song and then becoming mega superstars. They got there by doing local shows, like 30 people at a club. Like I remember being in college and seeing Drake at Club Miami. Like like they got there by building a fan base one by one. And that's what you're doing. You're going to build your base for whatever you're doing one by one. And if you do that, and if you really connect, and if you still have passion for it, then I feel like it will stay forever. But if you try to take the easy route, which is very easy nowadays, with buying bots, with like pay to play, it might look good, to somebody, it might come across like, "Ooh, look at that." But the organic growth in the organic way that you will become who you want to become, there's no faking that. There's no taking it away if it happens, but those bots can go away. Like, be honest with you, it also could be illegal. Some stuff, yeah, like, that's a whole nother conversation. But you'll be hearing about that coming up soon. Not on my podcast, but in other stuff. But like, but yeah, so it's just like that's what I tell people. Be grateful for what you have. I've always been grateful from one listener to 1,000 listeners. Like y'all know this who have been with me on this journey of podcasting this whole time. Like when I started podcasting, I tell people I'm not joking. I started this podcast in 2020 because my friend TJ was just like, do a podcast. I was like, all right. I mean, okay, I guess TJ gonna listen and my mom gonna listen. So I got 2 listeners and it took off to places that I never thought it would take me to. Like thanks to you who listens to my podcast, I have a cookbook. I'm an author. I get residuals from a cookbook. I am a actual author. I have a YouTube channel now. I had like it all of this came from this podcast, but it also was built brick by brick. And I think that's the biggest thing to understand that no matter who is, on your Facebook, whatever, like they might not automatically jump over. All the followers I have on my social media, I'm at 200 subscribers right now at YouTube, and I am thankful for all 200 of those people. But I have way more than 200 followers on Instagram. I got way more than 200 followers on Facebook. I got way more than 200 followers on TikTok. It just doesn't mean that they just gonna jump over there and support me right away. I got way more listeners, 200, but so it's just like the slow roll is sometimes for a reason. And I don't want anybody to be following or like subscribing to stuff they don't want to see. So it's perspective, man. But I have the utmost, like I'm humbled and I thank everyone that takes time out of their day to even be willing to look at or listen to anything that I'm doing. So that's the best part for me. All right, enough about me. I feel like I went down a rabbit hole there for a minute. We're gonna jump back into the techniques, and this one is my favorite. I hinted to it earlier, and it is braising. So braising is not anything hard. It's just simply doing a technique before you do another technique that most of us know. And honestly, all you have to do is sear first and then cook partially submerged in liquid. I like to say liquid because it can be broth, it can be wine, it can be stock, it can be water, but we try not to because it can be broth, it can be wine, it can be stock. So don't use water. But I was talking earlier about my mom cooking the steak and onions and peppers. I don't know. That's like a really big thing in the South. I don't know if anybody else do that, but like you just put the steak in the oven on the pan with the onions and peppers, you season it, and you just let it go. Realistically, sometimes you get a crust and sometimes you didn't. Now I know as a chef that like my mom didn't get a crust if she didn't have, her steak dry and it came out kind of gray and kind of watery if it was going in the oven wet. I understand the science of it now, but like she obviously didn't because she didn't even like to cook. She still don't like to cook. And I didn't know what it was back then. But I'm saying this to say if you are having those issues, or if you know somebody that's doing that, you can just always braise it, which means sear it first and then put it in the oven with a little bit of broth or wine or stock in the bottom of the pan with your onions and peppers. And now you've elevated that dish because it's going to create this rich, layered flavor by combining that dry seasoning and that moist, slow simmering with the heat. And this is really good for tougher cuts of meat, which is what I'm talking about because, like I said, we grew up not so rich. I mean, and right, not so rich. I don't like to say the word poor, but like, my mom always made it do what it do. But like most of the time, that means you're not buying filet mignon, and I did not have filet mignon. So these are great for like chuck roast, pork shoulder, um, I mean, if you do have the money and like the means, then now it's like short ribs, lamb shanks. But this is also great for those. I want to focus on those tougher cuts of meat that like you're just like, man, this is already so tough. How can I make it better? This is one of those ways to make it better. Also, using aromatics. So onions, garlic, herbs, wine. Wine builds that complexity, especially when you have those really tough roasts. little wine, the tannins will break down those tendons. It's actually going to come out a lot better and a lot juicier. So definitely something to try. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was bringing it all together, like the time, flavor, everything. So it's like both of these methods that we talked about really rely on time and transforming the ingredients, right? And in the kitchen, you slow down. You're given a chance to appreciate the process. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with gratitude too. You know, when you try a slow cooked meal, it reminds you of patience. It brings you comfort, both in food and in life. And it's just like it is that patience that helps us get through the tough times. It's like a lot of times gratitude isn't something that you can just instantly turn on. It's like something you have to give a little perspective to, you have to think about, but the patience really helps. But I do think that if it's one thing that you're trying to do, I know sometimes we have those New Year's resolutions, or you're trying to change something, like maybe try being, if you're a person who looks at the glass half full, oh, I'm sorry, half empty, maybe try looking at the glass half full for 60 days and see if it changes. And if you can't do 60, try 30 days and see if it changes your perspective on life. See if it changes your outlook, see if it changes what's going on. I am a big proponent of insanity is doing the exact same thing, but expecting different results. So I feel like if you're in a place where you feel like ain't nothing gonna help, man, I'm doing what I can do. I'm doing everything I can do right now. Then this ain't gonna kill you. And obviously it ain't gonna make it no worse. So what's the worst thing that could happen? It could get better. And I think I've used that in my head and on myself a lot in my life. And it's gotten me to try different things and to kind of come out of depression before, because a lot of times we just don't know what we don't know. And you don't know how to do something differently unless you try it or you do it. So that's my 2 cents today on that. But I do want to leave you guys with a little note on gratitude as well. I feel like I'm a person that feels like the universe, God, whoever you believe in, a higher power, sends you what you're putting out. Like I'm that person, just like karma, like every the energy you put out is brought back to you, right? So I do feel like a lot of times if I'm feeling negative or if I'm feeling bad or if I'm not in a good mindset, I will not send it out to the world, or I try not to, because we're not perfect over here. they God's still working on me. But what I'm saying is hurt people. And it is so true because when you're hurt, sometimes you want other people to hurt like you're hurting. So then you lash out. And I have been very vigilant in my life to stop that cycle for me because I used to be that person and I know I used to do it. Um, and I think what's happened over the past like couple years, especially, is that I've seen a change in myself that I like. And I think that's the biggest thing is that you don't live life for other people. You live life for yourself. And for me, I'm really liking my life right now. Of course, I want certain things. I want, but there's not a day where I don't wake up and I'm just not thankful for one, waking up and being alive, but also the opportunities and the things I work for coming to fruition. It's an unforgettable feeling. And I would like everybody to feel that. And I feel like once you feel it, then that's the feeling that you want to have. So shout out to you guys. I just want to say thank you once again to you. Like I am like unbelievably appreciative of every single person who takes time out of their day to listen to my podcast. Um, like not like you don't even know. And thank you so much, like I said, for going to YouTube. I've been having so much fun. It's been super stressful. I won't lie. It's been a lot because for those of you that don't know, I do work on cruise ships. So I'm a culinary instructor. I'm on a cruise ship right now. What I'm doing right now is I actually am recording on site, and then my co-hosted episodes have already been recorded because I'm on a cruise ship. So you're going to get more updated episodes with me. I mean, they're all updated, but you'll see. If you listen, you'll be like, dang, like he was just talking about what happened this week. So I want to do that too. But I'm so appreciative of you guys. Like, thank you. Thank you so much. And don't forget to go over to the YouTube to like, subscribe, and share. And as I like to say, if you don't like it, send it to your op because obviously you guys have different opinions on things. So, let them check it out. Like send it to somebody you don't like because maybe they'll like it if you don't like it. No, but for real though, thank you guys so much. I hope that you have an amazing day and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Cooking Your Way Through Life with Chef Hollywood.